Are you clawing your way to the top? Our guest today is an award-winning writer and a producer with over 35 years of experience. He's worked on major Hollywood films and at the moment writing and producing Australia's largest privately funded feature film, Dust and Glory. Stay tuned as this episode has heaps of great info for creating your own work. And don't miss out on the great audition tip. Happy Sunday, peeps. You're watching The Actor's Process, and I am your host and acting junkie, Claire Elizabeth D. And today we're shooting at the Renaissance Theatre in Melbourne, Australia. And this very stage was where I did my very first performance. I was 5, I was wearing a purple tutu thing, and I attempted to do some ballet. So today, I'm very excited to share the stage with one of the wackiest and wisest men I know in the industry, Bobby Galinsky. Hey, Bobby.
How are you, Claire?
I'm extremely well. How are you?
Very good, very good.
I am so excited to have you here at The Actor's Process. I met you only a couple of months ago at one of your fantastic industry workshops.
Yes, it's only been a couple of months, and I've been looking forward to this, so I feel wacky and somewhat wise this morning.
Good.
Okay.
So Dust and Glory is one of your major film projects at the moment, and it's been uniquely funded. So how have you gone about getting support for this project?
Well, it's been an 8-year saga. We started out when my business partner, Elizabeth Howard Jackman, in Top Cat Films, optioned the book Dust and Glory, the eponymous novel, and I fell in love with it. I'd heard a story about this guy, Gelignite Jack Murray, this iconic Australian who used to throw dynamite at other cars when he was racing in the 50s. And I heard that from my dad when I was a kid because he'd been over here in Australia, and I always thought it was a story like the Easter Bunny or Santa Claus or something like that. So when I moved over here 19 years ago, and then I heard that this was true, it was like, oh my God, this is just amazing. And then met my business partner. She had the novel, and I said, I've got to write this screenplay. This is what I've been destined to write.
And who have you got directing?
Simon West.
Wow.
Simon West.
That's great.
Yeah, he was our first choice. Con Air, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, Expendables 2, and he wants to do an intense, character-driven, amazing Hollywood-style film in Australia, which is what we want.
Very exciting.
Yeah. Thank you.
So for me, when I'm getting ideas for projects, I usually find them through singing. So for example, with this show, I was driving along in my car. I was actually going onto a first date and I'm singing along to the radio, and all of a sudden, just like lightning, this idea for The Actor's Process came to me. So I was wondering, how do ideas hit you, and do you use visualization?
Well, I was at first date. You didn't show up. So that's what happened. No, ideas...
No, I showed up, but I was really ready to get out of there so I could knuckle down on The Actor's Process.
Okay, so when that guy sees this, he's going to figure it all out.
I'm going to be thanking him.
Okay. Usually an idea comes to me in the shower, in the bathroom,
yeah, I love the shower.
In some ignoble place, where I'll just be doing whatever and suddenly, and I think the big key is I act on it immediately. I'll either write it down or, take my wife's lipstick and write it on the wall or whatever is handy and act on it, because those are serendipitous ideas and everybody gets them, but very few people act on them. Yeah,
that's what happened with me. I got the idea, went to the date, and the moment I got home, I emailed Howard Fine and then emailed you, and I was like, if I've actually told the people that this is going ahead, I've got to go through with it.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So how important is it for actors to have their own projects going?
I think that unless someone is comfortable and wants to just be a day-to-day, I guess, kind of unnoticed actor, they have to have their own project. Because ultimately, everyone's looking for that role that defines them. You look at any top actor or actress now, and you remember Russell Crowe, Gladiator, Christian Bale, Batman. You identify certain people, certain roles. Heath Ledger, the Joker. And by controlling your own destiny, much like what Matt Damon or Ben Affleck did with Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
You take all the guesswork out. This is me as an actor, an actress. This is the role I'm dying to play. I've created it, and you magnetize people towards you. You don't have to go knocking on doors hoping you get a gig, and it might not even be the right gig for you.
So some projects just go with the flow and happen quite quickly. So what do you suggest for people who have got a project going and it's taking a long time? How do they stay motivated?
Heavy drinking. Heavy drinking. No, in all seriousness, you have to remember why you started. It's the old adage, before you quit, remember why you started. You have to know exactly where your goal is. And some of the best advice I got years ago from my mentor, the late Lawrence Heath, was he had spoken to Karl Wallenda. This is a bizarre story. The Wallendas were a famous tightrope walking family in Europe and the United States, high wire acts. And he asked Karl Wallenda, when he was doing a film about him, what do you think about when you're up on the wire? He says, I don't look down. My key is I don't look down. So if your project's taking 6 months or 6 years, or a film like Lincoln for Spielberg took 12 years, and he's Steven Spielberg, you just don't look down. That's all. Keep going.
And I'd love to talk about one of your favourite topics, Pay It Forward.
Pay It Forward is one of my favorite films, not so much as for the film itself, but for the message. The message that this isn't an industry where you claw your way to the top. It's an industry where you give your way to the top. People really gave to me for years and years and years, and I often couldn't figure out why. And one day I got it years ago. It was actually after I saw that film, that it's the generosity, doing things for people, but without an agenda, not like, oh, if I help Claire, she'll help me on this. It's just, I gotta help Claire because she's awesome. And something will happen one day, Claire will help Amy will help Chris, whatever, and it just suddenly comes back to you, but usually in a very unexpected way.
Yeah, you can't expect the karma to come back from that particular person, can you?
No, and not at 3 o'clock on a Thursday, because that's when you want it. It's not like God is your cosmic bellhop that's suddenly going to just do what you want him to do or what you want her to do.
And actors and directors and producers and writers, a lot of the time they feel like they have to compete. So I'd love to talk to you about how actors can actually change their mindset, that we're not in a competitive industry, that if one person succeeds, another person can succeed as well.
Yeah, I know that actors really have it hard, because when you go to an audition, aesthetically and semantically, you're competing for a spot. But you're not competing in the industry, because everybody has a list, every famous actor has a list of roles they wish they hadn't had or wish that they'd gone for. And how can you getting a gig negatively affect my life? I mean, if you get the gig, great. It frees me up to do something else. It frees me up for another opportunity. And I would say very, very cautiously, because I'm proudly Australian, but one of the differences between Australia and the US is there is that tall poppy syndrome of that person's doing well, it's hurting me. How can somebody else's project or success possibly negatively affect on you? It's insane. It's just not possible. It's not mathematically or physically possible, but yet people buy into that.
And we hear so much about overnight successes. Do you actually believe that that phenomenon is true?
I believe overnight success happens in a media standpoint. You take somebody like, excuse me, Sam Worthington, that said, oh, Avatar, overnight success. Only busted his ass for years. Heath Ledger busted his ass for years. Christian Bale, any top actor or actress has done his or her dues, but suddenly because of the internet and media the way it is today, people just suddenly explode on the scene so much quicker worldwide than they used to. So it seems like it's overnight, but really it's just overnight that they have a universal awareness, so to speak.
So, Bobby, what's your favourite quote at the moment?
My favorite quote is Billy Wilder's famous quote, "Be ready yesterday."
Be ready yesterday. Exactly. There's so many actors that actually just sit there and say, oh, I'll do the training when the role comes, or I'll lose the weight when the role comes.
Yeah, it's the old story, you have to be before you can do, before you can have. And it's just that one extra, rehearsal, that one extra memorization of a line, that one extra sit-up, push-up, phone call, whatever. When the call comes, and the call will always come, you're either ready or you're not. And you have to assume that time and space are irreversible. And you've got that one shot, so you have to be ready.
Yeah. And today's viewer question is from Jessica Ray Taylor from New York. Hi, Mr. Galinsky. My name is Jessica Ray Taylor, and I am studying acting full-time at the Lee Strasberg Theatre and Film Institute in New York City. From a producer's perspective, what advice can you give to an actor in regards to the audition and casting process?
I'd say the best advice is the advice I would give anybody for any goal, and that's visualization. You have to, on several levels, achieve the result that you want in your mind, in your heart, and in the present, in something tangible. I always urge people to write down exactly what they want and put it in the present. I am acting in blank today, June 21st, 1977, whatever that date is. Not, I am going to get the audition, things like that. And it's not just one of those affirmation things. By looking at it, by saying it to yourself over and over, by visualizing it, and truly, at least for 21 days. It's the old story. After 21 days...
It's a habit.
It's a habit. Whether you're losing weight with Jenny Craig, or whether you're quitting cigarettes, or whether you're going to be in that role, you build brain cells every day. And you completely recycle your body cells in 21 days. It's a physical thing. So if you believe what you can achieve, after 3 weeks, every pore of you understands that. It's the first thing everyone says when they win an Academy Award or an Emmy. I've been visualizing this day since I was a child. And it's math. It's quite simple. It's not anything magical.
Bobby, what's your daily habit?
Well, I've started brushing my teeth every day.
That's a
It's
good
made
thing
a
to get
made a
started
big difference.
with.
I couldn't figure out why the two ex-wives went away. So it must have been oral hygiene. No, my daily habit, and has been for almost 30 years, is visualization. There's a process called the dinner party, where in short you visualize everyone that you want in your life at a dinner party, which you put on, which you create. You very, very accurately detail the food, the room, what you're going to wear. If I want to be in a show with Jeff Bridges and Claire D, and
Who wouldn't?
And who wouldn't?
Exactly.
Exactly. Who wouldn't? Anybody who wouldn't can't watch the show. I visualize them at my house, at my apartment, at my party, and every night before bed, at least
In a
5
meditative
minutes.
state?
It's as close to a meditative state as I'd say I could get. I'm not a TM person, but I try. It's hard for me to relax. That is my relaxation.
So, Bobby, you have these fantastic industry workshops. Can you tell us more about them?
Yes, we met at a workshop, as a matter of fact, so it's a small
Very
world.
special day.
I'm glad you came. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
Exactly.
So I programmed this. I visualized this, and perhaps you did too.
You were thinking about me, weren't you, Bobby?
I was, before I even know who you were.
Exactly.
At the workshops, I try and have, I guess, a bit of a cunning plan to totally populate all of Australia with as many successful working actors and actresses and producers and writers as possible. I am totally committed to this being the next Hollywood, and that's on a good level, with all the studios in Gold Coast and Sydney and here working at full speed. And the more people that I can show how to access private financing, how to generate their own projects, how to work in groups and pay it forward into projects, means more work for everybody, means more films, more TV, better quality, higher bar of success, and everybody wins. So it's a 9-hour workshop, as you know, and it's to completely turn people's stinking thinking around and let them walk out with the tools to control their own destiny. It's not a rah-rah seminar. It is an enabling seminar.
And if you do one-on-one mentoring with people, what do you look for in a person to work with them one-on-one?
I look for their resilience first. Are they going to be able to take the severe beating, that the eternal morning sickness that is the pregnancy for their project? That's really the way you have to look at it. And if I kind of like their project and their philosophy, if I don't like anchovies and they want to open up a anchovy-only pizza shop, I can't support them. It's just, I have to pass the $18 ticket. Will I go see their project? And usually in the first 3 to 4 minutes, the way they talk, the way they act, the way they envision their project and their life, I can tell, do I want to work with this person and can I help them a lot? And I guess it's a bit selfish. If I don't want to work with them, if I can help them, I will, but I'm too old to spend time with people I don't enjoy being with. I know that's a bit selfish.
So, Bobby, if actors, writers, directors, producers want to get in contact with you and do one of your fabulous industry workshops, how can they do that?
Well, what they can do is they can check my website, either apexfeline.com or robertlewisgalinsky.com. It's got a list of upcoming seminars here in Australia and overseas, between my film projects, of course. And they can also schedule one-on-one consultations and we can talk about their career. My goal is to get them to be successful on a financial level, and I mean that hand on heart, getting them into a position where they can operate, earn income, feel good about what they're doing, and propel themselves into a career that they want. Not what I want, but what they want.
Thank you so much for your time, Bobby.
My pleasure.
Loved having you here at the Actors Process.
Awesome to be here. Great to know you.
So, what's your point of view? Should we have a competitive industry? Read this week's blog and leave your feedback. A huge thank you to our viewers out there, and a big shout out to our amazing crew. Check out theactorsprocess.tv and find out how you can have your work seen by becoming our Viewer of the Month. So much is possible with the Actors Process with your support. So please like us on Facebook, follow our tweets, and please share this episode with your friends. So remember Bobby's wise words, don't look down, and I'll see you next Sunday on The Actors Process.